Hello friends. You are welcome to our literary channel Academic Domain. Today we will discuss the life and works of Toni Morrison. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to it and hit the bell icon to get notifications of upcoming videos. Kindly like, share and give your valuable suggestions through comments. Let's begin with the life of Toni Morrison. Chloe Anthony Wofford Morrison, born on February 18, 1931, known as Toni Morrison, was an American novelist and editor. Her first novel, The Bluest Eye, was published in 1970. The critically acclaimed Song of Solomon, published in 1977, brought her national attention and won the National Book Critics Circle Award. In 1988, Morrison won the Pulitzer Prize for the novel Beloved, published in 1987. She was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993. Born and raised in Lorain, Ohio, Morrison graduated from Howard University in 1953 with a BA in English. Morrison earned a master's degree in American literature from Cornell University in 1955. In 1957 she returned to Howard University, was married, and had 2 children before divorcing in 1964. Morrison became the first black female editor for fiction at Random House in New York City in the late 1960s. She developed her own reputation as an author in the 1970s and 80s. Her novel Beloved was made into a film in 1998. Morrison's works are praised for addressing the harsh consequences of racism in the United States and the Black American experience. Toni Morrison is the first woman of African American descent to win a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993. She is a critically acclaimed writer who focused attention on the issues of African American identity through the hitherto unexplored intersectional lenses of gender and race. Her novels confront us with the uncomfortable truth of the transatlantic slave trade, initiating decades of inhuman dislocation and disintegration of Africans from the native land to an unknown alien country. With the complex interplay of memory, trauma, stories, myths, legends, supernatural elements and oral folk tradition, Morrison weaves intricate narratives of loss and recovery. Her novels center on the issues of racial alienation, racial hierarchies within the community, disempowerment, childhood traumas, the impossibility of assimilation and restoring pride in the lost legacy. The individual's unity and harmony with the family, community and the nation are integral to one's rediscovery of self. Childhood and early life. Toni Morrison was born Chloe Ardelia Wofford, the second of 4 children from a working-class, black family, in Lorain, Ohio, to Rumar, née Willis, and George Wofford. Her mother was born in Greenville, Alabama, and moved north with her family as a child. She was a homemaker and a devout member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. When Morrison was about 2 years old, her family's landlord set fire to the house in which they lived, while they were home, because her parents could not afford to pay rent. Morrison's parents instilled in her a sense of heritage and language through telling traditional African American folktales, ghost stories, and singing songs. She read frequently as a child. Among her favorite authors were Jane Austen and Leo Tolstoy. Morrison became a Catholic at the age of 12 and took the baptismal name Antony, after Antony of Padua, which led to her nickname, Toni. Attending Lorain High School, she was on the debate team, the yearbook staff, and in the drama club. Career. In 1949, she enrolled at Howard University in Washington, D.C., seeking the company of fellow black intellectuals. She was the first person in her family to attend college, meaning that she was a first-generation college student. Initially a student in the drama program at Howard, she studied theater with celebrated drama teachers Anne Cook Reed and Owen Dodson. It was while at Howard that she encountered racially segregated restaurants and buses for the first time. Morrison went on to earn a Master of Arts degree in 1955 from Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. She taught English, first at Texas Southern University in Houston and then at Howard University. While teaching at Howard, she met Harold Morrison, a Jamaican architect, whom she married in 1958. Their first son was born in 1961 and she was pregnant with their second son when she and Harold divorced in 1964. Morrison played a vital role in bringing black literature into the mainstream. One of the first books she worked on was the groundbreaking Contemporary African Literature, published in 1972, a collection that included work by Nigerian writers Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, and South African playwright Athol Fugard. She also brought to publication the 1975 autobiography of the outspoken boxing champion Muhammad Ali, The Greatest, My Own Story. Among other books that Morrison developed and edited is The Black Book 1974, an anthology of photographs, illustrations, essays, and documents of black life in the United States from the time of slavery to the 1920s. In 1987, Morrison published her most celebrated novel, Beloved. It was inspired by the true story of an enslaved African American woman, Margaret Garner, whose story Morrison had discovered when compiling the Black Book. Garner had escaped slavery but was pursued by slave hunters. Beloved was a critical success and a bestseller for 25 weeks. Beloved is the first of 3 novels about love and African American history, sometimes called the Beloved Trilogy. The second novel in the trilogy, Jazz, came out in 1992. Told in language that imitates the rhythms of jazz music, the novel is about a love triangle during the Harlem Renaissance in New York City. In 1992, Morrison also published her first book of literary criticism, Playing in the Dark, Whiteness and the Literary Imagination 1992, an examination of the African American presence in white American literature. Before the third novel of the Beloved Trilogy was published, Morrison was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993. The third novel of her Beloved Trilogy, Paradise, about citizens of an all-black town, came out in 1997. The following year, Morrison was on the cover of Time magazine, making her only the second female writer of fiction and second black writer of fiction to appear on what was perhaps the most significant U.S. magazine cover of the era. Morrison wrote books for children with her younger son, Slade Morrison, who was a painter and a musician. Slade died of pancreatic cancer on December 22, 2010, aged 45, when Morrison's novel Home, 2012, was half completed. She had stopped working on the novel, later explaining, "I stopped writing until I began to think, he would be really put out if he thought that he had caused me to stop. Please, Mom, I'm dead, could you keep going?" She completed the novel Home and dedicated it to her son Slade. Morrison died at Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx, New York City, on August 5, 2019, from complications of pneumonia. She was 88 years old. Literary contribution. Novels written by Morrison. The Bluest Eye, published in 1970. Sulla, published in 1973. Song of Solomon, published in 1977. Tar Baby, published in 1981. Beloved, published in 1987. Jazz, published in 1992. Paradise, published in 1998. Love, published in 2003. A Mercy, published in 2008. Home, published in 2012. God Help the Child, published in 2015. Children's books with her son Slade Morrison. The Big Box, published in 1999. The Book of Mean People, published in 2002. Remember, The Journey to School Integration, published in 2004. Who's Got Game? The Ant or the Grasshopper? The Lion or the Mouse? Poppy or the Snake? Published in 2007. Peanut Butter Fudge, published in 2009. Little Cloud and Lady Wind, published in 2010. Please, Louise, published in 2014. Plays. In Orleans, the Storyville Musical, aka New Orleans, performed in 1982 with Donald McKayle. Dreaming Emmett, performed in 1986. Desdemona, performed in May 15, 2011, in Vienna. Her literary contribution includes several other works of nonfiction, poetry, short fiction, etc. Thanks for watching the video.